So, what happened to the crew of history's most successful pirate? They were hunted down, caught, and executed. But what about their captain, Henry Avery, and his treasure, worth well over $125 million today? They just vanished. Think about the great pirates: Blackbeard, Black Bart, Calico Jack. They're legends because of how they died, usually at the end of a rope or the edge of a sword. But Henry Avery is different. He's the legend who won. He pulled off the single most profitable heist in history, became the most wanted man on the planet, and then disappeared, leaving behind a fortune that's never been found and a mystery that still fascinates us. This is the story of the one pirate who got away with it all. Long before they called him the King of Pirates, Henry Avery was just another sailor trying to make a living. Born in Devon, England, around 1659, he was an experienced mariner who had even served in the Royal Navy. By 1694, he'd landed the job of first mate on a heavily armed ship, the Charles II. The vessel was part of a joint English and Spanish mission to go after French ships in the Caribbean. But there was a big problem. The ship was stuck in a Spanish harbor, and the crew hadn't been paid. For months, they waited for their money, but it never came. The men got restless, their loyalty worn thin by empty promises and emptier stomachs. Henry Avery, known for being pretty charismatic, saw his chance. One night, he led a mutiny. It wasn't a huge, bloody battle. It was a quiet and decisive takeover. The crew, fed up with waiting for money they'd likely never see, threw their support behind Avery. They seized the ship, renamed it the Fancy, and voted Avery their new captain. In a single night, Henry Avery went from a frustrated first mate to the commander of a powerful warship. He basically told his new crew they could either keep serving masters who starved them or go out and make their own fortune. Every man, he declared, would be a shareholder in this new enterprise. Their destination was no longer the Caribbean. Avery turned the Fancy east, sailing toward the legendary riches of the Indian Ocean. Avery's plan was unbelievably bold, but also brutally simple. He was going to intercept the Grand Mughal treasure fleet. Every year, a massive convoy of ships sailed from India to Mecca. On its way back, it was loaded down with not only wealthy pilgrims, but also the immense treasures of the Mughal Empire, one of the richest in the world at the time. Sailing down the coast of Africa, Avery built up his pirate fleet. By the time he reached the Indian Ocean in 1695, he was leading a small squadron of pirate ships. They lay in wait, like a pack of wolves. Soon, their prize appeared, a 25-ship Mughal convoy. Avery's fleet descended on them. They first took the escort ship, the Fateh Muhammad, which carried its own impressive treasure worth around $50,000. But that was just the warm-up. The main target was the convoy's flagship, the Ganges Sawai, or Gunsway in English. This thing was a beast, one of the largest ships in the Mughal Navy, with 80 cannons and hundreds of guards. The battle that followed was a mix of brutal warfare and just plain dumb luck. As the Fancy closed in, one of its cannonballs smashed the Ganges Sawai's main mast, crippling the giant vessel. A moment later, one of the massive Mughal cannons exploded on its own deck, sparking chaos and panic among its crew. Seizing the moment, Avery's men swarmed aboard. The fight was savage, but the pirates won. The accounts of what happened next are horrifying. For days, the pirates brutalized the passengers and crew. When they were done, they unloaded the treasure. It was more than they could have ever dreamed of. Chests packed with gold, silver, and jewels. The total value was estimated at up to $600,000, a sum worth well over $125 million in today's money. It remains the most profitable act of piracy in history. Every pirate on board received a share that was more than a lifetime's wages for a regular sailor. Henry Avery was now the richest pirate in the world. The news of the attack on the Ganges Sawai caused an international incident. The Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb was enraged. His treasure was stolen, and the pilgrims had been tortured. A deep insult. He turned his fury on the English, threatening to kick the powerful East India Company out of India, which would have destroyed England's incredibly profitable trade in the region. London panicked. To save their relationship with the Mughal Empire, the English government had to do something drastic. They declared Henry Avery hostis humani generis, an enemy of all mankind. The government and the East India Company teamed up to offer a massive $1,000 bounty for his capture, a fortune at the time. This kicked off what was essentially the first global manhunt in history. Orders for Avery's arrest were sent to every corner of the British Empire. Avery knew the world was now hunting for him. He and his crew sailed to the Bahamas, a known pirate haven. There, he used some of his riches to bribe the governor, buying himself a bit of time while living under the fake name Captain Bridgman. But with bounty hunters and the Royal Navy closing in, the Bahamas wasn't safe for long. Avery's crew scattered, disappearing into the American colonies and beyond. Some were eventually caught and hanged, but the biggest prize, Avery himself, was gone. This channel is made possible by viewers like you. If you're enjoying this journey into history's greatest unsolved mysteries, take a moment to subscribe and hit the notification bell. It's the best way to ensure you don't miss our next investigation. And let us know in the comments, what do you think happened to Henry Avery? After the crew scattered from the Bahamas, Henry Avery's trail just goes cold. He and the bulk of the treasure simply vanish from the historical record, like ghosts. He was supposedly spotted sailing toward Ireland in June of 1696, but after that, there's nothing but rumors and legends. So, what really happened to the King of Pirates? One popular story claims he snuck back into England to live a quiet life. An account from the time says he tried to sell his diamonds to some merchants in Bristol who cheated him out of his entire fortune, and he died a penniless man in Devon. It's a nice, ironic ending, but there's no real proof. Another theory suggests he sailed to the pirate-friendly island of Madagascar, where some believed he founded a pirate utopia called Libertalia and lived like a king with a Mughal princess by his side. This story helped build his legend, but it's almost certainly a romantic fantasy. More recently, archaeologists in New England have found 17th century Arabian silver coins that might have been part of Avery's loot. This hints that Avery himself could have spent time in the American colonies, hiding in plain sight before he disappeared for good. But perhaps the wildest theory of all emerged just recently. In 2024, researchers studying a misfiled coded letter from a Scottish archive claimed to have finally solved the mystery. Dated 1700 and signed by Avery the Pirate, the letter suggests an incredible twist: that Avery traded his treasure for a royal pardon and became a spy for King William III. According to this theory, the world's most wanted pirate didn't die, broke, or retire on an island. He went to work for the same king who had put a price on his head. Despite all the tantalizing clues, no theory has ever been proven. Henry Avery was never captured. His incredible fortune was never found. He is the one great pirate captain who actually achieved the dream. He stole a legendary treasure and vanished from justice completely. His career lasted only 2 years, but his impact was massive. His success inspired a whole generation of pirates and helped launch the golden age of piracy. Stories of his amazing heist and mysterious escape were told in taverns across the world, turning him into a folk hero. While Blackbeard became famous for his scary persona and dramatic death, Avery became a legend for the exact opposite reason. He was the master of the getaway, a ghost in history whose final chapter was never written. And so the mystery lives on. Was he a master spy, a penniless old man, or a king on a secret island? We may never know for sure. The only certainty is that Henry Avery, the king of pirates, wrote his own ending and took its secrets with him, leaving the world to wonder forever.